In today's dynamic world, where events related to politics, religion, and society constantly capture our attention, prophecies constitute an integral part of reflections on the future. Among the numerous prophecies that provoke interest and controversy, there is one that particularly grabs the attention of the Christian community: the last prophecy of Benedict XVI. Pope Benedict XVI caused widespread stir both during his pontificate and after resigning from office in 2013. His profound spirituality, erudition, and focus on important theological issues captured the attention of believers worldwide. However, what particularly piqued interest were the prophecies and warnings purportedly related to the end times, the future of the Church, and the activities of the Antichrist. In today's video, we will delve into the mystery of Benedict XVI's last prophecy, analyzing its context, content, and potential implications for contemporary Christianity. Is it merely another episode in the Church's history, or perhaps a key to understanding approaching eschatological events? In seeking answers to these questions, we will examine the roots of the prophecy left to us by Pope Benedict XVI, attempting to understand whether his words contain deeper wisdom about the current state of spirituality or, conversely, serve as a warning of difficult times ahead. We will also explore what the former pope said about the imminent Antichrist and his dark plans. In light of the events of 2020, when the global community began to experience its own fragility and the deception associated with false freedom, Benedict XVI drew attention to key aspects of the Antichrist strategy. In the context of this prophecy, Joseph Ratzinger warns against the subtlety of the Antichrist's actions, which are intended to create confusion and disorientation among humanity. In his final message, Ratzinger emphasizes the need to discern the presence of this evil spirit in contemporary society. Ratzinger's prophecy points out two main features of the Antichrist's strategy. Firstly, it highlights subtle actions disguised under the guise of apparent freedom. The Antichrist seeks to deceive humanity through false ideologies that mask true intentions. Secondly, it indicates a strategy of misinformation aimed at disturbing the hearts and minds of people, leading them astray. The prophecy warns against the trap of seemingly attractive propositions that conceal destructive consequences for morality and truth. Pope Benedict XVI sheds light on the enduring actions of the evil spirit, whose goal is to distort the image of God's goodness in people's hearts. He emphasizes that this evil spirit works incessantly, manipulating human minds and leading to the undermining of fundamental values. Particularly dangerous is its disguise behind the facade of a universal dictatorship of apparently humanistic, contradictory ideologies. This subtle yet powerful ideological dictatorship purports to uphold humanistic values, but in reality contributes to societal division. By promoting conflicting ideologies, the evil spirit achieves its goal of excluding individuals from society's basic consensus. This deceitful tool leads to social disintegration, intensifying tensions and divisions among individuals and social groups. Regarding the events of 2020, the Pope highlighted how this malevolent spirit exploited circumstances to impose restrictions and introduce social experiments. Confined to our homes, deprived of dignified work, we unwittingly became participants in this new, dehumanized humanism. It is worth considering how to avoid the traps of this malevolent spirit in contemporary society, recognizing the impact of ideological manipulations on our daily lives. In May 2020, as some countries were gradually emerging from the initial lockdown that practically paralyzed the entire world, the biography of Benedict XVI was published. In a surprising manner, the last chapter of this book contained a stunning statement. Contemporary society aims to formulate an anti-Christian creed, and whoever opposes it is socially punished with excommunication. These words reveal a profound challenge facing modern society. This situation signals a current trend toward formulating a worldview based on anti-Christian values, impacting every individual or institution that opposes this trend. There is a tangible threat of social excommunication for those who consistently adhere to Christian values. Joseph Ratzinger warned about the spiritual power of the Antichrist, and his words seem to carry particular weight in today's times. He indicates that the fear of this spiritual power of the Antichrist is all too natural, and it is truly necessary that prayers of entire dioceses and of the Church around the world come to their rescue to resist it. This statement reveals the deep dimension of the spiritual battle that Christians are currently witnessing. The fear of the Antichrist is understandable because this spiritual force opposes Christian values, leading many souls astray. In response to this challenge, Benedict XVI calls for the whole Church to pray, emphasizing the importance of unity and spiritual solidarity in the face of contemporary threats. In 2020, as the world began to feel its own instability and false freedom began to reveal its deceitful face, Benedict XVI conducted a profound analysis of the identity of the Antichrist. His focus was on two key elements: false humanism and socialism, which together form a dangerous and depraved essence of anti-Christian ideology. The Antichrist's false humanism manifests as a deceptive dictatorship of ideology disguised as humanism. This apparent humanistic concept actually excludes individuals from society's basic consensus, creating the illusion of justice but imposing a uniform view that must be accepted by all. This is the deceptive tool of the Antichrist, using the guise of good and justice to hide its true face of anti-Christian dictatorship. Socialism, as another characteristic of the Antichrist, becomes a tool to impose false humanism universally, regardless of racial, religious, or social class differences. It is a universal tool for controlling society, where everyone is incorporated, and those who oppose it are excluded from society's grace. This poses a threat not only to the individual, but also to the community, which is forced to accept anti-Christian ideology, thereby losing its identity and values. In a profound lecture that took place on April 1, 2005, at the monastery of St. Scholastica in Subiocco, Cardinal Ratzinger presented key insights regarding false humanism, which has become an integral part of the Antichrist. It was a significant event as he received the Saint Benedict Award for the promotion of life and family in Europe. In his words, he revealed that safety, essential as the foundation of our freedom and dignity, cannot arise from systems of control or external structures, but must emerge from the moral strength of the individual. Pointing to the need for moral strength, Ratzinger expressed his conviction that without it, humanity becomes increasingly susceptible to threats and destructive forces. False humanism, based on apparent justice and the control of individuals, actually contributes to the loss of this moral strength. Security based on controlling people, devoid of moral foundations, leads to the degradation of individual strength, transforming it into potential for destruction. It's important to understand that where this moral strength is lacking, humanity becomes a tool of destruction. It is precisely this false humanism, which denies the need for developing internal morality within the individual, that creates space for the Antichrist. Cardinal Ratzinger warned that moving away from moral values makes humanity more susceptible to manipulation and the loss of its authentic identity. Confronting the false humanism of the Antichrist, he called for a renewal of individual moral strength, which constitutes not only the foundation of security, but also the basis of freedom and dignity. The false humanism propagated by the Antichrist is based on a perversion of the essence of love itself. For this false humanism to work, there must be a satanic corruption of love, its distortion, and the deprivation of its true meaning. So, what really is love? This question opens the door to understanding how the Antichrist wants to exploit and distort fundamental values. The Catechism defines love as a theological virtue that makes us love God above all for His own sake, and our neighbors as ourselves out of love for God. This lofty view of love assumes knowledge of God as truth and love. However, today's society, under the influence of the Antichrist's false humanism, changes this meaning, replacing it with false mercy. The satanic imitation of love, promoted by the Antichrist, distorts the original meaning of love, creating a superficial image of understanding and acceptance. However, this is not true mercy, which looks at others through the prism of truth and morality. Closing one's eyes to another's sin, as false humanism claims, is precisely false mercy. In reality, false mercy becomes a tool of manipulation, obscuring the essence of sin and losing moral judgment. Through this distorted concept of love, the Antichrist justifies sin and blurs the boundaries between good and evil. This false mercy is a tool for undermining the moral foundations and Christian values. Those who bravely resist false love, prevalent in the modern mind and unfortunately in many corners of the Church, are the true defenders of authentic mercy. In a world full of confusion and misinformation, where the understanding of love is blurred and distorted, those who adhere to traditional Catholic understanding of love stand as unwavering bastions of true values. Compared to the wolves cruelly leading souls in need of healing towards condemnation in the name of false love, defenders of true mercy, following the Church's teaching, become shepherds of the spiritual flock. The traditional Catholic perception of Satan portrays him as great corruption, an entity incapable of creating, healing, or saving. Satan only distorts, and his actions are a parody of God, disrupting what God has created. In today's world, where Satan attempts to distort and disorient our concept of love, the faithful who remain steadfast in true mercy provide a strong counterbalance. True mercy looks at others through the lens of truth, without deceit or justification of sin. It is mercy ready for conversion, without compromising its values due to honesty. If the Church is to fulfill its role as a field hospital for souls, it must return to the roots of true love, which is an authentic remedy for suffering souls. Just as in a hospital where doctors strive to cure a patient, so too should the Church focus on sanctifying the soul and bringing it closer to God through Christ. The true love that the Church should proclaim leads to conversion, while healing the wounds of the Spirit. It is a love that does not justify sin, but lovingly points the way to improvement and salvation. As a field hospital, the Church must be a place where souls find healing through encounter with the living Christ, who is the physician of souls. In a world where false love causes confusion, the true love of the Church must be like balm for wounded hearts. This love does not choose easy solutions, but consistently follows the teaching of Christ, combining understanding and demanding dimensions of mercy. In the face of contemporary challenges related to both false humanism and socialism, we must adopt a stance in defense of truth and love. Benedict XVI's prophecy thus becomes a call to deeper understanding of the spiritual threats lurking in the modern world, as well as a call to take concrete responsibility for shaping our spiritual future. Benedict XVI's prophecy is a warning, but also a hope that the faithful, guided by the true teachings of the Church, will be able to defend faith, truth, and love, which are the foundation of Christianity.